Hello, and welcome to this gathering of SSUC, Spiritual Seekers United in Community. We gather together for our series, Geography of the Heart, for this Sunday, January the 24th. And we welcome you to this experience and to this gathering that we share together and apart. We gather in a place where we might explore the watery places of our lives. And we invite you onto that part of our journey in the geographies of our world and of our heart. We invite you to take this journey with us to those places that are filled with waters, the lakes, the oceans, the streams, the ponds of our experience. We're joined together here by so many talented people each and every week. And this week is no different. Along with my teammate Nancy Steves, we are joined by musicians Katie and Janice and Catherine, and our vocalists this morning, Pam and Blair. In our booth, helping us bring this experience to you is Brett and Dara this week. So many thanks to all the people that make this time possible for all of us. We here in Edmonton, you there in Saskatoon, and wherever you happen to be joining us, we are people of place. And so regardless if we are living in a place where we were born, living in a place far from that, where we have made a home in new places, we are all people of place. So we take this moment now to root ourselves, to feel our feet on the floor or our bodies in their chairs, to feel that connection with the ground, to know that this is home for us, and that we're rooted here, even though we may have traveled, even though we may be away from places that feel like home, we can be rooted to the very place we're in. So as we take this moment to feel that place, we also take a moment for gratitude for all those who have made these places home. We take a moment to acknowledge the history, the traditions and cultures of the first peoples of our land. For us here, Treaty 6 territory. For wherever you happen to be, you can take a moment of gratitude for those first peoples of your place. And wherever we are connected by this planet that we attach ourselves to, that spins through the cosmos. And we recognize that none of it happens without the connective and refreshing spirit of water. And so we're joined together here on this place, in this place, and at this time.
Each time we gather, we light a candle. We honor the gift of light that makes life possible in this watery place, on this planet we call home. We seek light, and we have an opportunity to reset our intentions, to reflect light, the light of love, in our living and in our dying. We celebrate the light of each life, the light we receive with our breath, the light we are given to shine in the world for our time, in whatever world opens to us, the world of our relationships, of our vocation, of our gifts and talents, the world of our skills and our passions. Today we light our candle in gratitude for the gift of life. And we light our candle in solidarity with the Berg and Brodeur family. We honor the light that has shined so brightly in Andrea Brodeur. The light of Andrea's strong spirit has shined as a daughter to her parents, Bonnie and Ed, as a wife for almost 25 years to her husband, Roger, as a mom to Ty and Isabel, as a sister to Stuart, as a sister-in-law, an aunt, a beloved friend to so many. Andrea has given her light as a partner, a parent, an educator, a hockey mom, a dance mom. And last night, Andrea made her passage into death after an inspiring and courageous journey with cancer. She has taught us much about living and dying. She's taught us that life is our opportunity to be a light in the world, and that death has no power to extinguish our light, only to change how it shines in memory, in legacy, in those we have shared it with. At each memorial gathering, we light a candle and we speak an affirmation that all of our memories, all of our stories, all of our laughter, all of our sadness is safe in the undying light of love. One of the watery places we find ourselves in life is with our tears, the watery place of our grief and also our gratitude. And so as we gather as community with one another in our scattered places, we gather in sadness this day for the grief we have in the brevity of Andrea's life. But we also gather in gratitude for the completeness of her life. And in this watery place of our sadness and grief, we sing our trust that all is safe in the undying light of love. We invite you to sing with us. as we make our journey through grief and gladness, through the dry places of our lives and the wet places of our lives, we set an intention to live deeply, truly, fully, to shine our light on the path that our heart places us on. We take this moment, as we do each time we gather, to set and strengthen our intentions. And so I invite us to pray with one another, offering the words you find before you. We pray together. On life's journey, each stride invites us to focus both on where we are and where to place our next step. As we journey through life's different landscapes, may we recognize the wisdom in each one and the echoes of each vista in our hearts. In both companionship and solitude, in dreams of hope and shadows of distress, may we have the grace to appreciate the opportunity for deepening our understandings of self and others. We seek the boldness and strength to live our highest values with every twist along this journey's path, in the hope that we might move the world toward justice and love. And on this path, may it be so.
I'm really happy to see you today. Mio Gisagao. I'm sitting next to Slave Lake. Actually, this is in Treaty 8 territory where my family's from. So I feel very humble today to know that my ancestors have walked these lands before me. But the reason why I'm sitting here today is because I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about water and the importance of water and why water is so sacred to me, but to First Nations people. And I want you to think more about how you use water. how plants use water and how animals use water. So today I'm going to do a little bit of a reading about water and maybe put some questions up after for you to reflect on. Thank you. Ninaskamon.
Nokomis love Nipi, and Nipi love Nokomis. Rain or shine, hot or cold, calm or wild. Every morning, like the women in her family before her, Nokomis hopped out of bed, and before doing anything else, she said, Ninaskamon Nipi, for the life you give to every living thing on earth. Kisagi Hitin, I respect you. But one day, a wise Okimau told her, in my lifetime, the day will come when an ounce of water costs more than an ounce of gold. What are you going to do about it? Like an arrow, his words pierced Nokomis's heart. She looked around. She saw how people were disrespecting the water, wasting it, making it unfit for life. Day turned to night turned to weeks, and Nokomis remembered the Okimau's words. A few moons went by, and then one night, Nokomis had a dream. Early next morning, Nokomis called her sister and Esqueo Nitotamak over for tea to talk about their responsibility to protect Nipi. 4 days later, Nokomis and the Mother Earth Water Walkers, as they came to be known, found themselves standing on the side of the road, wearing sneakers. Nokomis carried a copper pail full of Nipi in one hand and a mixu staff in the other. If no one noticed Nipi, maybe they would notice the water walkers. Maybe someone would ask why they carried Nipi in the water pail. Maybe someone would be moved to protect Nipi too. Nokomis and the Mother Earth Water Walkers walked all around the Great Lakes and the St. Lawrence River. They walked every spring for 7 years. They prayed and sang to Nipi. They left tobacco in every lake, river, stream, and puddle they met. They got up before the birds and went to bed when Nokomis rose. Nokomis was interviewed on television, in newspapers, and on radio. She was even in movies. But big companies, politicians, and even her next-door neighbors still did not feel the urgency to protect Nipi. What more can I do? Wondered Nokomis. 1 year later, over by the Atlantic Ocean, a friend of Nokomis had a dream, and she shared it with Nokomis as soon as she woke up. Nokomis shared the dream with all the people she had met during her walks. Word spread fast across Turtle Island, and everyone began to prepare. Next thing you know, there were Esquewok standing at each salt Nipi around Turtle Island, with a copper pail in one hand and a mixu staff in the other, wearing sneakers. In the west, Nokomis and the Mother Earth Water Walkers set off from the Pacific Ocean, saying they will do it for the water. 1 year after a devastating oil spill, Nokomis and the Water Walkers set off from the Gulf of Mexico singing to Nipi and praying for the healing of Nipi. They said, "Water, we love you, we thank you, we respect you." Next, Nokomis and the Water Walkers set off from the Atlantic Ocean in the east. At the send-off, they walked barefoot on the rocks and the beautiful petroglyphs and sang to Nipi. Putting on their sneakers, they started out on the migration trail their ancestors traveled hundreds of years before. In the frigid north, the ice was 5 feet thick. Nokomis and the Mother Earth Water Walkers put tobacco on the frozen Nipi, singing their thanks, respect, and love. Saltwater tears filled the Mother Earth water walker's eyes as the 4 Salt Nipi met Lake Superior. One day, the 4 Salt Nipi will be reborn as clouds and be carried home on the wind, said Nokomis. Nokomis went through 3 knees and 11 pairs of sneakers walking for Nipi. She got her knees replaced and is at home resting up, taking the time to surf online for new sneakers. Every morning, she puts down her tobacco for Nipi and sings her gratitude. She prays people wake up and realize that without Nipi, there is no life. And she continues to wonder, what are you going to do about it?
Just a little scene of some water to start with. There is something about water. There's something about the river, the sea, the lake, the pond, the ocean, something that refreshes us, moves us, quiets us. In the foreword to Wallace Nichols' book, Blue Mind, Céline Cousteau, granddaughter of the well-known ocean explorer Jacques Cousteau, writes these words: "We are beginning to learn that our brains are hardwired to react positively to water, and that being near it can calm and connect us, increase innovation and insight, and even heal what's broken." How can the millions of ponds, reservoirs, and lakes and rivers provide an experience to the countless people who see them and hear them, who touch them, play in them, or on them, write about them, photograph them, and sense them in their thoughts and dreams? Since humans started exploring the planet, we've followed the water. As travelers, we seek waterways on vacations. We'll drive new coastlines in search of wild surf spots or beaches. We return to the blue spaces that we grew up around or that have become favorites in our lives. I'm never as inspired to take my camera out of my pocket as when I'm near the water, either because of its sheer power or its serene calm or its immense beauty. Listen to the words of Chief Tamale Bwoya in her writing, Listening to the Spirit of Water. Water is one of the mysterious gifts of nature that supports and holds life on earth. Many indigenous communities knew the value of water a long time ago, and to them, water was considered to be the source of life. And for so many communities then and since, an element for cleansing, purification, initiation. For example, Lake Victoria in Africa, before it was named so by a British officer, was called Nalubale, which literally means the home of spirituality. In communities where people recognized and respected bodies of water as their source of spirituality, these watery places were owned and protected by communities for the good of their communities. Words that are familiar to the Jewish and Christian tradition echo the power of water and land. From the most famous of Psalms, those old poems and hymns of celebration and lamentation, we hear words from Psalm 23 that sound like this: "In the sacredness of this pasture, our beloved earth, I have everything I need. I make my home in the field of all being. Beside still waters and rushing seas, I am restored. Even when the wind blows wildly and life is terribly turbulent, I am not beyond comfort, for I am never alone. The hum of creation companions me. The mystery of all is within me. The waters of our world are a geography we all know. 80% of the world's population live within about 100 kilometers of a coastline, of an ocean or a lake or a river. So we're never that far from water. And it connects us, not just historically because of the energy and trade routes that brought ancestors to those rivers and lakes and coasts, but because also that we are drawn to it. We are connected to it. We are it. Whether we sit beside still waters or rushing seas, whether we're on it or have a view of it, it has the power to restore. Restore what? Probably many things. And while I could remind us of something we all know well, that water makes up about 70% of the human body and about 70% of the earth as well, the reality is that water connects us to each other and to everything. As William James wrote, we are like islands in the sea, separate on the surface, but connected in the deep. Isn't it right then that we should think of the waters of the world as being able to restore us to this deep connection that we have to each other? The way at first we see just the lapping waves on the surface, but then we think of what's happening underneath. The cycle of water as it moves in and out of states of matter into our atmosphere, into our lungs, falling as rain and snow, being frozen in shields and bergs and glaciers, showing up in our bodies, in our cups of coffee, and back and forth and through. We are restored by our connection and awareness to this great cycle and these larger-than-life patterns and transformations that, regardless of what's happening on the surface, are constant below and in the depths. The lakes and rivers that connect us, the ocean of connection that runs deep within us, I ask us then to find that geography also in our heart. If we find it, we find our connection to what matters, to spirit, to the universe's energy, to the atoms that make up all matter, to the impulses and principles that we wish health and safety, acceptance and kinship across all people, across our entire globe. Our nearness to water helps us enter this place within us, this deep place that can look under the surface, find the deep connections, and marvel at the patterns and the transformations that are possible. We are like islands in the sea, separate on the surface, but connected in the deep. It's no wonder then that we feel that bond when we near the waters of our lives. To quote Wallace Nichols again, when we are by the water, it cuts us off from the rattle and hum of modern society. Moving water is expert at masking noise, especially the sound of the human voice, both others and our own. To take the human voice, all its overly rational, noisy words away for a short time so that we might be freed to connect to the hum of something primal and earthly, something uniting. That is one of the gifts of the water places. Quiet the voices, quiet the world, and find something deep there. That's something that Wallace Nichols imagines when he urges us to find our blue mind, a sense of calm, peacefulness, unity with life lived in the moment. Something found in and around the water of our planet, and the antidote to the anxious, overconnected, overstimulated state that defines the new normal of our living. He also writes that it's relatively easy for us to take a step to that place anytime. In his writing, he says that it's not long in knowing someone before he asks them, "What is your water?" What's the first water you think of, and what's the water you dream about and long for? What does it feel like? What does it smell like? What does it look like? These are the questions that help us take a step into this geography of our heart. These are the questions that help us contemplate our relationship with water and move toward that lovely truth of William James. We are like islands in the sea, separate on the surface, but connected in the deep. What is your water? For me, it's a canoe on Duck Lake outside of Kelowna in the late afternoon as the sun sits low to gleam off the clear water. The only sound is the lapping of the tiny waves against the canoe. For me, it brings conversation to a whisper, and I navigate simply by aiming my canoe for the sun's rays and thinking of nothing else. Time slows, and nothing matters but that very minute. That is a scene that inspires my blue mind, connecting me with life. Where is your water? And what does it quiet for you? What does it connect for you? If we can't be there, which many of us can't be, then bring to mind a memory. Bring from your album a picture. Visit it however you must and be there today for a moment. Be invited to find connection to your own watery self and the waves and tides of the earth underneath you and all around you. And in that watery place, find something deep. Find a current. Or find a wave that takes you away on whatever journey you need. May it be so for us all in so many ways. There are a few invitations that we have for you in the coming time. Want to invite you to a time for going deeper. This is a Zoom conversation that we invite you to just shortly after we finish this gathering here at 11:15 a.m. this morning. A chance for conversation and connection around the topics of today's gathering. Please find the link on the website as you see it on your screen. Also this week, Tuesday Topics Winter Series hosted by SSUC Saskatoon. We are really grateful that they are leading a conversation this week about the topics of systemic racism and white privilege. And it's through the respectful and forthright manner of Emmanuel Acho in his series Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man that can facilitate that conversation. You can see the details there on your screen for this Tuesday evening and finding the link again on our website. Gratitude to all those who contribute and donate to the work of SSUC, both here locally and the work that we do as we partner with the United Church of Canada, with Mission and Service that takes our, and with our outreach committee that takes our reach around the world. If you're able to donate, you can do so by any of the means on your screen, and we thank you for the ability to support the work that we do together as community.
I sing a song to the sea.
We recognize and we honor the light that is within each of us. And as we connect in different places and in the different geographies of our heart, be them hopeful or grieving, be them distant or close, we recognize that the lights of our spirit never extinguish, they simply change. And so we change our lights today. We change them from this glowing form into something different. And in this smoke, the light, the atoms of that flame merely flow about us in a different way. So as we take our changed light into this day, may we go with the spirit of depth, the spirit of calm and serenity, or the spirit of courage of raging water. May it be ours to find. May you go with safety, and may you have a health and wellness in the days ahead. And until we are together again, we wish you all well, here from all of us at SSUC.